I think people will feel content. That's what the generals try to do, but they only keep half-baked ideas that never really seem to work.
All right, let's go over to Brussels and get Mr. Strawline's take on that. The problem is bigger, or the solutions are bigger than sanctions, but sanctions are one of the solutions. That's the view from Mr. Cousseau. Would you agree with that? Is it really possible to isolate a country rich in natural resources, sandwiched between two of the fastest growing economies in the world?
Well, I think you've framed it fairly accurately to give the answer. It's not very realistic right now to expect China and India. I mean, India also has arms dealings with the Burmese government. It's not very realistic to see those two very key trading partners sign up to sanctions in any meaningful way. That just really sounds incredibly unrealistic to me. But it's not unrealistic to expect China and India to influence the situation in other ways. I mean, the military regime in Burma will listen to China, and that has been shown on other occasions in the past. It's been shown that China does have that kind of influence. And right now, I mean, we really are in the 11th hour. We are on the precipice of a really major incidents of mass violence here. The Chinese Foreign Ministry has stated that instability in Myanmar is an interest that the international community has, and the Chinese the Chinese simply do not want a country tanking right in their backyard. So they have an interest in the stability of Myanmar. They do not want to see a repeat of 1988, and I would be very surprised if the Chinese were not sending very clear signals. But of course, yes, behind the scenes, it's not their way to act in a kind of public condemnation fashion that you see in the West.
Well, hang on then. In addition to what perhaps the Chinese could or are doing behind the scenes, let's talk a little bit about the US and the EU. Have they, in a sense, burnt their cards by banging on about sanctions? Should they perhaps now think about engaging in dialogue?
Well, I think it's. I think that's in the U.S. and in the EU. There's really very little political risk for politicians to take when they condemn Burma. There's not really much interest, economic, political, general knowledge about Burma or the situation there in these Western countries. It's very easy to sort of bang on about it, but there's not really any cost. And the fact is, really, no matter